Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Jesse.
How's it going?
Good. I look forward to hearing your talk here shortly. I think it's going to launch. I think you're up right after this. So I haven't even heard it yet. We got Holly popping on here. Give it a few minutes here. Ooh. So this is our first launch on the live Q&A session. So hopefully this goes well. If not, I am recording it so we can put it up there for people. But it seems like you guys got in just fine. So that's a good sign.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you guys have logged into the site. It's not unlocked for our live session yet until 1 minute here. So I'm just going to refresh to make sure people can get in. Hopefully you listened to the last couple presentations. They've been really good. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. So it looks like it just opened up. So people should be able to log in here soon. Amy Weber-DeRaad's going to ask us some questions too as she logs in. She's kind of the facilitator that has been putting this together for us. So she might have some insightful questions about our presentations for us. Oh, Holly got off. Oh, here we go. People are entering. There we go. Hey, Jesse.
Good morning.
Good morning-ish.
Whatever.
All right, they're just opening up here and then it just unlocked. So we'll see what happens with our technical side. It looks like it did unlock just now to allow people to come in, but just so you know, I'm recording this in case we have an issue getting it. We could at least put it out there for people. Hey, Amy.
Hey, how's everyone today?
Good. How are you?
Are you alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic?
It's Friday.
Woo, that is something.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it looks like it's working. So Holly, once she gets her camera on, we can get started. I know Jennifer couldn't join us for the Q&A. She is having some family emergency stuff going on, so we send our best to her. But her presentation this morning was awesome. So if you guys, we're going to do an encore presentation, definitely go listen to that. I think you'll all find benefit in it. Oh, and we have some chats here. So strange, my camera won't unlock and mute. Okay, Holly, let's see if we can figure it out for you. We can always ask you some questions via chat. Let's see. Oh, don't leave meeting. Well, I figured this out. Amy, do you want to start the Q&A session?
I would love to. So I simply got my face on the Business Summit page because I'm moderating the live Q&A. The questions are for all of you experts who had the fantastic presentations today. And let's start with Jesse Gurr and your presentation, Traction by Gino Wickman.
Yes.
There's a thought there about expecting 25% growth rate each year. And there are some key principles in place that are needed to make that happen. And so let's talk a little bit about vision.
Yes.
How have you seen your core values change as your business develops?
Minimally, very minimally. And I would say that this is something that we stay on top of as a business. So the original set of core values was done as a full team exercise when the team was much smaller. And they included balance, they included passion, and then we had transparency was one of them. And then there was a couple other values that we had held on to. And when we implemented Traction, we kind of took the core values brainstorming down to just a little bit more of a core group of our leadership team. And we started there, and they've modified slightly as we've grown, but I think that we did a really good job in the beginning of picking the core values and of being open and communicative with the team about them and getting the team behind the core values, that we really do live by them, and when we have questions about how to handle a customer situation, we go right back to those core values.
Wonderful. That's my follow-up question was, how often do you revisit them? And it sounds like it's more than an annual dusting it off the notes. It's a daily process for your evaluation for how you provide service.
Yeah. And so we have quarterly state of the company meetings where part of that is a core values presentation, and we do rotating staff members. So at our last state of the company meeting, actually one of our designers put together a whole video presentation on our core values, and she had like little slides of waddling penguins, and we have kind of a whole speech actually that goes to them. But we also have a little laminated cards that everybody in the company has, and that has our core values and kind of their priorities for the quarter as well. So they're front and center everywhere.
You're providing some inspiration to people who are now looking at their annual meetings in a different light.
Yes.
I love it. A few more questions for you while we have your attention. So people is a big part of the process, and having the right people in the right seats. And so the question is, how do you motivate employees or find what motivates them so you can have the right environment to keep the right people in those seats?
Right. I mean, and so a lot of it, again, down to the honesty and making sure that you're hiring employees for what they originally thought that they were hired for. So a web design agency, everybody wants to be a web designer, everybody and their sister. So when we're hiring for a project manager, the first part of that is making sure that we are clear up front that this is a position that's not going to grow into a web design position. So we're not hiring people with the expectation that they're going to have this end goal just because it's the type of company. So I think I mentioned that in my presentation, just super clear about that. We also have, we're really open and honest about our growth goals. Our 10-year goal is something that our team came up with together. And so our 10-year goal is to have 1,000 active customers via organic growth and acquisition. And so it's a little bit different. It's not a number goal because numbers don't mean anything to the average employee. Obviously, that number of customers can translate into a number, but we have everyone behind it, as in that involves a lot of customer retention. So if we're super open, we send out a monthly newsletter about how many new clients we have, which clients left. And as we tick toward that goal, everybody in the company plays a part in, reaching that goal. And then we have other little things, like we have bonus incentives. If we meet certain revenue goals, everybody in the company gets a certain type of bonus.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's always a people pleaser when there's a few extra dollars. I love it. So in addition to having the vision, driving where you're going and having the right people there, you have to have some data, right? Because you need to support what it is you're doing and have some proof that it can work out. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so everybody in our company actually is responsible for keeping track of some numbers every week and their goals to stretch for. And we really broke down our revenue goals and our long-term goals into measurable things that we need to be tracking. So one of the things that we track every week is the number of support hours. So we have a full-time customer service representative, and her job every week, is to answer the phone, to do support tickets for customers, and any team member that contributes to them logs our time. And then, we invoice for that. And so we have a goal number for support hours. And every week at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, usually she calculates, the number of hours that were actually put just towards support. And so as a leadership team, when we see that, we say, okay, well, we had, 40 hours last week of support time, or, we had however many support tickets, it took this much time. It's justifying that we're being responsive to our customers. It's showing that role is working out, and it's helping us to plan for future growth too. If we are all of a sudden seeing, an exponential uptick in support tickets, then we know, okay, well, we're at the point now where we need to maybe be allocating more staff resources to that part of our company.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I do have one final question, if I may, for you.
Absolutely.
So in talking about your agency, what are some ways you can help small businesses versus the larger companies find their niche? So they're like, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm in business. This is what I can offer. How do you help people identify that?
Right. So some of that goes back to your values and to why you're doing this. So for us, like what motivates you? For me, it's seeing people being happy in their position and creating jobs. So our purpose is to create a company where people love to come to work. And then, to niche down into who you serve, your customer, I mean, you can say my customer is everybody, but no, your customer is not actually everybody. So what are some qualifying things that make someone want to work with you? What kind of people do you want to work with? It can be super niche. Like you could say, we want to work with construction companies. For us, our niche is working with businesses who want to grow. And so we kind of have differentiated between, when people come to us, what is the likelihood of them closing, or what is something that all of our customers have in common? And it's that growth mindset. And so, for a chiropractor, it might be, you're looking for people who maybe have a specific industry that you're in, or you do a lot of DOJ. So maybe you're looking for a lot of people in the transportation industry, or maybe people who are, into health and wellness and value their own health and wellness. So there's a lot of different ways you can take that niche.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like the vision, people, data, and niche are a great formula for success and what you're bringing to the community. So thanks for being one of our experts on the summit today. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna give a little fair time to some of our other experts today. And I'm wondering, Holly, have you been able to join us with your, there you are, yay. I love it, I love it. See, if you're patient, technology usually works in our favor, right? So Holly, you have, I'm looking forward to your presentation because I know it's slated for later today. And you took a little bit of a different approach, more of an interview style, because that's one of your greatest skill sets, is sitting across the table from someone and helping them find value in the intangibles and how you can put that into something that's substantive. So I have a couple of questions for you today, especially in your role in the Chamber of Commerce. When you're helping potential members identify if they're a fit, how do you help them know where to spend their advertising dollars?
Wow, that's a great question. Everybody has different budgets, okay? And one nice thing, there is a lot of marketing included in a membership for a smaller member. Maybe their budget is allocated. So I feel great that a member can still have a presence on the website and utilize the hot deals, post their events, and with a larger company, and they're able to put a banner on our website. That we're seen as a leader in the community. So not only do members look at our website, but people in the community. And it's just, having a conversation with the prospect to say, what is it you're really looking to do? We have lots of options for them.
Wonderful. So I'm hearing you talking about small businesses and large businesses. So you really have the opportunity to listen to anybody who's a business owner in the community, to let them know that there are some options to help them reach an audience, and their size doesn't have to be a deterrent for the services that you're providing.
Absolutely. I mean, we have entrepreneurs all the way up to companies that are worldwide. For example, yesterday I toured Mate, and I just love what I do, Amy. And I remember years ago when you and I sat down and visited over coffee, and everybody has a story and people just want to talk and be heard. nobody wants to be sold. Yesterday, and I'll go off on a tangent because, and I'm not Italian, but Jesse, you were talking with your hands.
You're fluent,
too.
right?
So the property manager was they did the roof, so some things, light fixtures fell down or whatever. And so we were visiting in here and he was in the Navy, and how we got on this conversation, I'm going to San Diego on vacation, and he was in the Navy, and I said, oh, what'd you do? And he jumped out of helicopters to save people. Wow, that's cool. I'm like, you must be a really good swimmer. So when we're just real and have a real conversation, beyond what we're doing, then everything flows. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
It does. It's about creating relationships, isn't it?
it
Right?
is.
And
It really is.
being authentic and present. Really
Yeah,
starts
and
that.
if our product is not a good fit, well, then when you're having a conversation, well, then Jesse's product is a good fit. So then you give that referral. Or I don't have my reading. Am I seeing two Jessies? I am.
You are.
Girl Jesse, boy Jesse. But that's the beautiful thing of passing things on and doing the right thing.
I love it. I love it. So one of the things that you are so good at is engaging people with potential customers. And you are one of the people, and I say that sincerely, one of the people in the county who knows so many people and has so many connections. When you're talking with someone, you're identifying a need that they have that's unmet, and you can potentially meet them. What are some of the criteria that you use to determine who to refer to them?
So goes to asking good questions. I think finding out what they're looking for and making the connection or the introduction to a current member. If I'm not the correct resource, I can direct them to who is, because we can't do everything for everybody. And Jesse, like you said, everybody is not a prospect. And you know what? Sometimes we want to fire I didn't just say that, I did. Delete that. But I love giving referrals too. Hopefully that makes sense. It's Friday.
It is Friday, and we're all so very thankful for that. It's the let the hair down and let the smiles and authenticity free day, right? So
Right.
Holly, one more question for you. You have a lot of events that are offered through the chamber that are meant to target different markets. What are some of your favorite events that the chamber offers, and what value do you find in them?
Great question. So we offer over 100 events. And the nice thing for our members is they can pick and choose what event works for them or doesn't. I love our business council meetings. They are Coon Rapids, Blaine, and Brooklyn Park. And what those events are is to bring the right people together to talk about the right issues. Schools will give updates, city halls, economic updates. And when people collaborate, I think that's an overused word, or partner, it's for the good of all. And who doesn't want a community that's going in a great direction? It benefits everybody. Of course, another event, I'm a golfer. Okay, I'm an avid golfer. I love golf. We have a great golf tournament. We get over 200 people. Lots of opportunities to get your name out, and you can pick and choose what works good for you.
All right. Well, a quick follow-up question. Are you going to be golfing in San Diego?
Well, of course, Amy. Of course, Amy. And it's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be golfing tomorrow.
So if you could just encapsulate that sunshine and bring it back, that'd be fantastic. While you're working on that, I'm going to transition into a question for Desiree. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you kindly.
All righty. So Desiree,
Yes, Amy.
Your presentation and your purpose behind the summit was to help business owners reduce stress in their lives. As a chiropractor, you have the ability to see the effects of physical stress on people. What are some of the signs of physical stress that we might not even be aware of that you could maybe clue us into? So as we're preparing to undertake life for the day, we can maybe reduce that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's actually a really good question. Because obviously people are like, oh, I'm stressed out. I feel tension. Everyone feels tension. When people come in, everyone holds tension in their shoulders, in their neck. They get tension headaches. So these are the headaches that build up over the day. Everyone knows that. Everyone can feel like it's almost like an anxiety type feeling. If you're under chronic stress, your heart rate goes up, you start not sleeping well. All of those things are pretty straightforward when it comes to stress. However, there are some things that you need to be on the lookout that once you're in this chronic stress state, your body actually starts shutting down. So you may get over this little hump where you're like, okay, things are just rolling, but now you're under a constant sympathetic state where you just cannot get out of this stress state. And these are the things that will happen to the body is you'll get chronic colds. You'll get cold after cold, just mild, low grade colds that last a long time or are very frequent. Sometimes the body shuts down and you'll get things like chronic fatigue syndrome, a lot more gastrointestinal issues, anything that keeps you in that sympathetic state, your body will shut down. So you're looking at all your autoimmune disorders are actually signs of chronic stress. So those are the things that sometimes people don't put that link together, that they're not feeling good, they're medicating these things, but when really your body's shutting down because you're in this constant state of stress for so many years that your body just can't handle it anymore. So those are some of the things that once we start clearing the body of this interference, clearing the mind of some of these stressors, you'll actually see a lot of these health conditions start clearing up. And it's really cool to see that connection when people realize they can take care of their health.
And as we're sitting here and I'm realizing my shoulders are a little in need of relaxation, thank you for that reminder. If you were to give our audience today one thing they could do to alleviate a physical stressor in their life today, one thing that they could do just to bring a little moment of to their day, what would that be?
So, well, I would say come in and get chiropractic care, but actually the best thing that you can do if you are in chronic stress is to exercise. It really is. I mean, I want people in my office, but exercise is really the one thing that it moves your body. You have to move, you have to get your heart rate up, you have to sweat. Those are all the things. Once you engage in regular, frequent, high intensity exercise, you'll notice a huge change in how your body works. So find the time, do it 15, 20 minutes, high intensity exercise actually will change the course of your health. It's pretty amazing. It engages when you're in exercise mode, it actually resets everything. So you go back to parasympathetic state. So that would be my one recommendation. The number one thing you have to do. Second thing, I guess, would be definitely get chiropractic care, but exercise makes a huge difference in all aspects of life. So.
All right. Well, as we have some sunshine here in Minnesota today and water glasses that are slowly getting lower, thank you for that inspiration to get out and make the most of this Friday. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Thanks,
it.
Amy.
Thank you. Jesse Griffin, how's it going today?
It's going well. I am enjoying the Jesse G heavy panel here.
Yeah. Not only do we have similar first names, but the whole like monogram thing, like way to plan it, you guys. It's fantastic. I love it.
What's your middle initial, Jesse, before we go any
R.
further? It's an R. Dang,
Yeah.
I got a J.
So close.
Well, a little differentiation is a good thing, right? I love it. So, Jesse, you have the profession that probably has the most labels and jokes about it.
I haven't heard any of them.
Yay. Your presentation today is focused on some really tactical things that, protecting your business, right? You have this vision, you have this entity, you have the people, you have the drive, you have the skill set. what do we do to protect it and ensure that it's viable going forward, right? So what are
Yep.
some tips you have for us today in that regard?
Yeah, I think the biggest tip would be to, a lot of people put a lot of vision and effort into starting their business, growing their business, planning for the immediate future, but we're not planning into the long future and thinking about what would happen if the worst happens, right? All of a sudden, you're no longer in an ability to manage the business because you're either incapacitated or, worst case, pass away. What happens to the business at that point? The whole point of a legal business entity is that it's got perpetual existence. Your business can continue forward after you've passed away. That's how the legal structure is set up. So we want to be in that mindset to be thinking about what happens in that situation. And sometimes the answer to that question is just, all right, I am the main service. I am the talent. And if I am gone, there's not really a business to move forward. That's fine, as long as we understand that and we know that that's the eventual outcome. But if you're planning and building and you want this to be a legacy for your family, we need to plan for that, and we need to take some steps to ensure that that's going to happen.
Wonderful. So what advice would you give for someone who's just starting out and they don't know whether or not they need to utilize your services? What would be involved in a consultation to help answer some of those questions?
Yeah, so the first thing is, I would say, planning around your business is not done in a vacuum, right? These things are important to consider on an individual level as well. So maybe your business does, kind of come to an end if you come to an end, but you have probably a house, you've got some bank accounts, you've got other things to consider, and you've probably got loved ones, children, spouse, family members that you want to make sure that anything that's left over goes to them. And even if there's not that much left over, you want to make it as smooth and easy for them as possible. So the first thing is, I would say, if you're just starting out, maybe we're not focusing too heavily on the business side of things. We're taking care of who's going to step in and make some decisions just on an individual level for you. And then just keeping that thought process and that conversation open as the business does grow to, all right, have we gotten to a point now where we really need to address the business and have a really strong plan for the business itself? So
what I'm hearing as you're talking is a theme that seems to be present with each of our presenters today. This is not a one-time conversation. It's a check that happens throughout the course of your existence and that of your business to make sure everything is aligned and it's prepared for what could happen in the future.
Definitely.
Awesome. Awesome. Any word of advice or suggestion that you have for someone who's still on the fence about, yeah, that's later. What do you have a story, something you can share with us? Why you wait?
Yeah, I would say that the first piece of advice I would give is, by not thinking about it doesn't mean you're going to avoid it happening. It's going to happen whether you plan for it or not. So you should have a plan in place, right? I sometimes tell people that no plan is a plan and it's the worst plan. So avoiding it just because you don't want to have to think about what are understandably some tough things to consider, and you're not, no one likes to think about their own mortality, but it's important to do it. And so avoiding it just because you don't want to have that conversation, you don't want to have to think about those things, you're really doing yourself and ultimately your successors, your family, your business partners, whoever the case may be, a disservice by not thinking about it. I mentioned a story in my presentation when you guys get a chance to watch it. I helped a family over the summer. A young man, he was 33 years old, got into a motorcycle accident and was recovering from a traumatic brain injury and couldn't make decisions about his business or his personal well-being. And because he was 33, he thought, I don't need any of this stuff. This is, as you said, this is for the future. Well, it can happen to anyone at any time. And so we want to have a plan for it in place. And as things change, we update the plan. We have that conversation continue and make changes as things need to change. But saying, a lot of people avoid it because it's not set yet. 5 years from now, I'll be in a much better position to have this conversation. Well, yeah, we can address those things in 5 years when you are a bit more set, but you've got things to take care of now too that you really should be thinking about in the immediate future, and not avoiding it, because we'll also have that conversation in the 5 years, 10 years future as well.
So taking some of the fear factor out, and your style is very personable. So I imagine that you do that very well for your clients and the people who are coming to you for guidance. Thank you for being one of our experts today. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So Team Jesse, Dr. Desiree, and Holly, your presence has helped us learn how to do business better. And we appreciate your gift of time today. Holly, we really do want that sunshine to come back. And if you can get that in encapsulated form for each of us, we'll share it. It's fine. So for everyone who was tuned in today, thank you so much. We really are enjoying our summit experience. And if you have some feedback or thoughts to share about things you'd like to see in the future, or experiences you've had from watching the presentations today, we're very open to receiving that. And in the meantime, everyone have a super rest of your day and enjoy this fabulous, fabulous Friday. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.